Imagine awakening each morning with purpose, your mind sharpened, your spirit ready to conquer the day. The moment you rise, the choices you make, the thoughts you nurture, these are the seeds of your future. What you do in the first hours of the day will echo through every hour that follows. It is here, in the quiet dawn, that the ordinary separates from the extraordinary. One simple, deliberate routine, performed consistently, holds the power to reshape your destiny, to ignite your ambition, and to align your life with the success you have long dreamed of. Today, you stand at the threshold of transformation. All that is required is the courage to act, the discipline to persist, and the vision to see the life you were meant to live. Every morning, without fail, life presents us with a moment that is both simple and profound. The moment we rise. It is in these first precious hours, before the world intrudes with its noise and distractions, that the course of our entire day, and indeed our entire life, is quietly determined. Most people drift into the day, reacting to circumstances, allowing their moods to be dictated by chance encounters, by unforeseen events, by the whims of others. But there is a different path, a path that separates the extraordinary from the ordinary, the successful from the merely surviving. That path begins in the morning with the choices we make immediately upon waking, and it is the power of a purposeful morning routine that shapes the destiny of those who understand its value. Consider this: the mind, like fertile soil, is ready each day to receive seeds, and the first seeds planted in the mind upon awakening have the power to determine the harvest we reap. When we begin the day in calm reflection, in focused intention, when we deliberately nurture thoughts of ambition, gratitude, and purpose, we are planting seeds of success. Every thought, every action taken in those first hours is a silent architect of our future. A man or woman who rises with clarity of purpose and engages in a disciplined morning practice is, in essence, declaring to the universe that they will no longer drift. They are taking control of their mental and emotional environment, crafting a foundation upon which their entire life will be built. A morning routine is far more than a sequence of actions. It is a ritual of empowerment. When we choose to begin the day with deliberate exercises of the mind and body, we are affirming to ourselves that our life is worth the attention, the effort, the care that such a routine requires. This ritual, performed consistently, becomes a shield against the chaos of the external world. It allows us to start each day with a calm confidence, a mental clarity that equips us to navigate challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities. The routine becomes a compass, guiding us toward our higher purpose, reinforcing the habits of thought and action that are necessary for achievement. It is not the grand gestures, the sporadic bursts of energy, or the occasional flashes of inspiration that shape a life. It is the steady, intentional, daily practice that silently but inexorably molds character, sharpens judgment, and directs energy toward meaningful ends. The extraordinary individuals in every field, those who rise above mediocrity, understand this principle intuitively. They have learned that their mornings are not merely a prelude to the day, they are the crucible in which their success is forged. It is during these hours, in the stillness of the early light, that the mind is most receptive, that creative insight flows most freely, that decisions made have the greatest weight. The power of a morning routine lies in this precise alignment of opportunity, preparation, and intention. Each repetition, each carefully chosen habit, accumulates into momentum. Small actions, repeated faithfully, compound in ways that are invisible at first, yet unstoppable over time. The individual who neglects this truth may achieve sporadic victories, but they will never experience the sustained, transformative progress that comes to those who harness the mornings of their lives. Furthermore, the morning routine is not simply about productivity, it is about mastery of the self. To rise with purpose is to exercise discipline over the most important relationship we will ever have, the relationship with our own mind. When we consciously decide how to begin each day, we are no longer subject to the whims of our environment, the impulses of habit, or the distractions of a restless mind. We are asserting ownership over our mental state, setting the tone for every interaction, every thought, every decision that follows. In this way, the morning becomes not merely a time of day, but a platform for self-mastery, a proving ground where character is tested and refined. It is here that we learn to govern our thoughts, direct our attention, and cultivate the mindset necessary for success. It is here that ordinary potential is transformed into extraordinary achievement, one deliberate action at a time. Success is never a matter of chance, nor is it something that will arrive at our doorstep simply because we wish it to be so. It is the product of deliberate action, sustained effort, and above all, a personal commitment to take responsibility for one's own destiny. Many individuals spend their lives waiting for opportunity to knock, hoping that circumstance or luck will grant them the life they desire. Yet opportunity seldom presents itself to those who remain passive. The truth is, time waits for no one, and every day that passes without decisive action is a day lost forever. To truly achieve success, one must cultivate a sense of urgency, an inner recognition that the moment to act is always now, and that the responsibility for change lies squarely on our own shoulders. From the moment we awaken, we are faced with choices that determine the trajectory of our lives. Will we allow ourselves to be led by habit, by comfort, by indecision, or will we seize the day with intention and purpose, understanding that the decisions we make in each passing hour ripple through the years? There is no neutral ground in life. Every thought, every action, every delay carries with it consequences, shaping the reality we will inhabit tomorrow. Those who achieve greatness have learned to move with deliberate urgency, to recognize that hesitation is the enemy of progress, and that personal responsibility is the foundation upon which all accomplishment is built. Waiting for perfect conditions or for external validation is a luxury that successful individuals cannot afford. The time to act is always the present, and the power to act rests entirely within oneself. Personal responsibility is a concept that demands more than superficial acknowledgement. It requires a deep, unwavering commitment to own the outcomes of our choices, to accept that no one else is responsible for our failures, nor should we expect anyone else to provide the solutions to our challenges. When we embrace this principle, we gain freedom. Freedom to shape our destiny, freedom to pursue our ambitions unencumbered by excuses or blame. The individual who recognizes that success begins and ends with their own decisions becomes unstoppable. Obstacles are no longer insurmountable barriers, but opportunities to demonstrate resilience, creativity, and determination. The moment we relinquish responsibility, we surrender control of our lives. The moment we embrace it fully, we step into the domain of true power, where achievement is limited only by our willingness to act. A sense of urgency does not mean reckless action or hasty decisions. Rather, it is an internal drive that compels us to maximize every moment, to focus our energies on what truly matters, and to eliminate the distractions that sap our potential. It is the recognition that time is the most precious commodity we possess, and that once a day passes, it cannot be reclaimed. Those who understand this truth approach each morning, each task, each goal with a deliberate intensity, aware that the smallest lapse in focus or procrastination can accumulate into missed opportunities. Urgency is not merely about speed, it is about prioritization, about aligning every action with our highest objectives, and about moving consistently toward the realization of our vision. Responsibility and urgency are inseparable companions. One without the other is ineffective. Urgency without responsibility degenerates into panic or anxiety, while responsibility without urgency becomes stagnation or complacency. Together, they create a force that propels individuals forward, ensuring that potential is transformed into tangible results. Those who cultivate these qualities understand that success is not a distant dream to be wished for, but a reality to be earned, step by step, day by day. They know that their life is the cumulative effect of choices made and actions taken, and that by acting decisively, they are not merely reacting to the world, but shaping it in accordance with their highest intentions. Every achievement, every victory, every advancement in life is the result of someone who refused to delay, who refused to wait for permission, who accepted full responsibility for their own progress. There is a clarity and power in understanding this principle, motivation that ignites the mind and spirit. To delay action is to allow mediocrity to claim the hours, to surrender the possibilities that exist in the present, and to forfeit the rewards that come only to those who act with determination. True success demands urgency, personal responsibility, and the unwavering belief that our lives are ours to shape. There is a principle so simple, so profoundly powerful, that it has shaped the destinies of the most successful men and women in every era. It is the understanding that small, consistent actions, when repeated day after day, accumulate into results far beyond what imagination alone could conceive. The world is filled with those who dream grandly but act sparingly, who wait for the extraordinary to arrive in a single stroke, and who fail to realize that the extraordinary is almost always the product of the ordinary, performed with consistency, precision, and unwavering commitment. The path to monumental achievement begins not with giant leaps, but with small steps repeated faithfully until momentum takes hold and transformation becomes inevitable. Each day presents a series of choices, often seemingly insignificant, that in truth are the building blocks of destiny. The decision to rise a few minutes earlier to focus the mind, to read a passage that feeds ambition, to plan the day with clarity, to take deliberate action toward a goal, may appear trivial in isolation. Yet it is precisely in the accumulation of these small, purposeful acts that the architecture of success is erected. Consider the river that slowly carves a canyon through rock, not by forceful destruction, but by the persistent, patient flow of water over time. So too does the individual who understands the compounding power of daily effort gradually shape a life of achievement, overcoming obstacles, creating opportunities, and producing results that, to the casual observer, appear miraculous. The mind, trained to recognize the significance of small actions, becomes a powerful instrument of success. Each choice made with intent reinforces habits, strengthens discipline, and sharpens focus. Every time we commit to doing what is necessary, even when it is inconvenient or unglamorous, we are sowing seeds that will grow into extraordinary outcomes. This is the secret that separates those who achieve greatness from those who remain in mediocrity.
It is not talent alone, nor luck, nor fleeting inspiration, but the steady, deliberate, and persistent execution of small actions that
Compounds into results that astonish both the individual and the world. The individual who underestimates the importance of these small daily investments is like one who dismisses the first drops of rain, unaware that they are nourishing the soil that will one day produce a mighty harvest. Consistency is the lifeblood of compounding results. A single act, no matter how noble, is insufficient to produce lasting success. It is repetition that builds momentum, and momentum that produces growth. Those who achieve extraordinary outcomes recognize the sacred power of this repetition. They cultivate rituals, habits, and routines that may seem minor, almost invisible, to the untrained eye, but which accumulate over weeks, months, and years into an unstoppable force. 1 hour of focused effort each day becomes hundreds of hours over a year. One deliberate choice each morning becomes a lifetime of advantage. It is the aggregation of these actions that explains why some individuals ascend to remarkable heights, while others, equally talented, remain stagnant. Moreover, the principle of compounding is not confined to material achievement alone. It extends to character, knowledge, relationships, and influence. The small act of showing kindness consistently builds trust. The daily pursuit of knowledge sharpens judgment and insight. The repeated exercise of discipline strengthens resilience. Every minor decision, repeated with intention, reverberates through the layers of life, creating opportunities, opening doors, and constructing a foundation upon which monumental success rests. In truth, no achievement is ever truly spontaneous. It is the visible result of countless unseen actions, each one small, seemingly insignificant, yet cumulatively powerful. To embrace this principle is to embrace patience, faith, and diligence. It is to understand that greatness is not instantaneous, that the seeds of success require careful cultivation, and that the results we seek will only materialize after sustained effort. Each day offers a chance to act deliberately, to choose wisely, and to invest energy in the pursuits that will bear fruit over time. The individual who masters the art of consistent action recognizes that every small step forward is a victory, every repetition a building block, and every moment a contribution to the larger masterpiece of life. The compounding of small actions is not a secret of chance. It is a law, immutable and powerful, waiting to be harnessed by those willing to act with intention and perseverance. Confidence is the cornerstone of all achievement, the invisible force that separates those who take decisive action from those who linger in doubt and hesitation. When a person speaks with certainty, every word resonates with authority, and every listener becomes receptive to the message being delivered. Confidence is not merely an external display of boldness. It is the internal assurance that arises from knowing one has prepared, practiced, and committed fully to the pursuit of a clearly defined purpose. It is the quality that allows an individual to inspire others, to persuade them, and to ignite in them the desire to act. The cadence, the rhythm, and the clarity with which one communicates are not superficial traits. They are instruments of influence, capable of moving hearts and minds in a way that mere facts or logic cannot achieve. Clarity in communication is equally vital. The human mind craves simplicity, and the more precise and articulate the message, the more compelling it becomes. One who speaks with clarity removes all ambiguity, presenting ideas in such a way that their meaning is unmistakable, their intent undeniable. A person who communicates clearly empowers others to act, for it is only when direction is unmistakable that individuals are inspired to follow, to commit, and to execute. Ambiguous words create hesitation, and hesitation is the enemy of progress. In contrast, clear and decisive communication builds trust, instills confidence, and sets the stage for immediate action. It is the language of leadership, the language that transforms thought into movement and intention into results. Persuasive cadence is the subtle, almost invisible force that amplifies the impact of words. It is the rhythm, the tempo, and the deliberate pacing that captures attention, emphasizes key points, and drives the message deep into the listener's consciousness. Just as a skilled musician uses timing and tone to create resonance, a master communicator employs cadence to ensure that each idea lands with maximum effect. Persuasion is not coercion. It is the art of guiding others to a realization, of presenting truth in such a compelling and irresistible manner that resistance fades and conviction takes root. Every pause, every inflection, every carefully chosen phrase becomes a tool to move the audience from passive listening to active engagement. Those who understand the power of cadence know that it is the heartbeat of communication, and they use it to synchronize thought, emotion, and action. The motivation to act is born not merely from knowledge, but from the emotional resonance of the message delivered. Confidence, clarity, and cadence converge to awaken a response that is both immediate and decisive. When an individual speaks with this combination of qualities, they create a sense of urgency in the minds of listeners, compelling them to act now rather than postpone, to seize opportunity rather than allow it to slip away. Words become more than sounds. They become catalysts, triggers that release energy, focus intention, and generate momentum. This is the essence of influence, the ability to move others toward a course of action aligned with purpose and vision. The communicator who masters these elements becomes a force, a source of inspiration that transcends ordinary persuasion, touching the deeper instincts that drive human behavior. Confidence itself is infectious. The individual who stands firm in belief, unwavering in purpose, and articulate in delivery transfers that certainty to others. Doubt is displaced, fear is diminished, and optimism flourishes. It is this contagion of assurance that motivates collective action, that builds teams, and that turns ideas into movements. People are drawn not only to words, but to the energy behind them, to the conviction that demonstrates the speaker's faith in the truth and value of their message. Without confidence, even the most brilliant ideas falter. With confidence, even modest proposals can inspire monumental change. Immediate action is the natural outcome of this interplay between confidence, clarity, and cadence. When communicated effectively, the mind recognizes opportunity, the heart feels urgency, and the will is compelled to move. Procrastination loses its hold because the listener perceives not only the importance of acting, but the feasibility of doing so. Motivation is not accidental. It is carefully constructed through deliberate communication by speaking in a manner that aligns logic, emotion, and instinct toward a single compelling direction. Every word matters, every pause counts, and every nuance contributes to the overall power of influence. The individual who speaks with mastery of these elements does more than convey information. They awaken action, ignite ambition, and set into motion the transformative processes that lead to achievement. Every individual is born with immense potential, yet most live their lives confined by the limitations of circumstance, habit, and imagination. They move through the world, accepting mediocrity as inevitable, unaware that within them lies the capacity to achieve greatness far beyond the ordinary. The first step toward transforming one's life is to see, with absolute clarity, the extraordinary possibilities that await. A vision of transformation is not a fleeting dream or a whimsical fancy. It is a careful